Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. Before I get this lesson started, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakodash, and double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, of whom I learn from and who teach and rule well. And a shalom to the hopefully elect brothers, taking this truth to the four corners of the earth, bidding the elect spirits of Yasharallah to the marriage supper of the Lamb, who is Yahweh Shai, our most beloved elder brother. This is your brother Adah from the Atlanta camp of GMS. Been chewing on a few words the Spirit's been showing me. Awesome stuff, and you get distracted because you're learning other things in the scriptures, and there's other portions of prophecy that you also got to commit to memory. And it's just, we're going from glory to glory, right? And, stone upon stone, or, the foundations are being laid and all this stuff is being built. And the Spirit had showed me, I'm still learning on reconciliation. I believe the officer Aina shared something in the chat this weekend, and it was the elder apostle Ramlab. And he posted a very quick, he just pointed out about the mystery of reconciliation. Let me see if I can locate this. Oh man, Salaki, I don't know if, can I do this without, maybe, I don't want to open it, just to be, hold on, I believe I saved it because it was just an awesome post. Where did I save it though? I don't know. Was it this one? I think this is it.
You can go to Isaiah 4.
Nope. Bam, here it is. Cool.
Genesis 49.
Okay, so the brother Anah from the Atlanta camp posted this in the chat, and it's the elder apostle Ramlab. And I was thinking it was going to be a lesson, but and this is so awesome. Look, it's a 39-second post, but you know how the Spirit works, precept upon precept. So it reminded me of what I've been learning about reconciliation. I'm gonna let this play, but this is what triggered or re-triggered what the Spirit has been working in us and myself. I think I did a word. I had a word of the week recently, I think when I first got into the camp, and it was this, the Spirit had been already using or showing this to me like a week prior. So I'm still learning this, but it's intense. Watch.
Genesis 49. Because when we fell away, eventually we had no way back to the Father, so Yahweh had to come on the scene. Genesis 49:10. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come. Shiloh is the peaceable one. Who's that? Yahweh Shai. And unto him shall the gathering of the people be. So Yahweh Shai would be the one that would gather the outcasts of Israel through his sacrifice. And that's why we have this ministry, the ministry of reconciliation. The adoption. Okay?
So this is awesome, right? So this weekend, the elder Kabash, as you guys know, in the Atlanta camp, we did an amazing job on the class and all the precepts everyone was posting. Just good Lord, man, it's just awesomely overwhelming, right? And intimidating in a beautiful way, because it's just like, man, to be given the grace to have access to this level of men who are walking in this level of sonship in Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh. I'm telling you right now, it's a blessing to be counted, to be worthy enough to be around other men pursuing this truth, and to be able to listen to the back and forth of the precepts, the conversations, the normal everyday living, family business, working, dealing, working in this captivity, experiencing the kingdom, the whole plethora of the restoration, the reconciliation, the ministry of reconciliation that we are being made a part of, and also are declaring. The word reconcile, reconciliant, transitive in reference to persons, to restore to union and friendship after estrangement or variance. I remember when I got this word, Salakia, to share at camp, it dawned on me that a lot of these words and these definitions of these words, I was speaking with the brother Yashimai and saying, man, everything in Esau's kingdom, the definitions of words, with him concealing things because he's the anointed cherub, but him also, because he's also done a diligent search, he's wiser than Daniel because he gets information on the left hand side. He has access to a lot of knowledge, and he picks and chooses which forms or facets of knowledge he wants to release into the public. And the rest of us, as we get woke up, we're able by the Spirit to find the stuff that he's hiding, the stuff that was originally given to us. A lot of these words and these definitions of words find their most purest, their most spiritual, their most preeminent, their most organic, most perfect perfection of definition when they are applied to Yahweh and the sons of God. When they are applied to the Israelites and Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, and everything that the composition, the word that has been written, and everything that Yahweh Shai is conducting from that word, that composition that Yahweh wrote, these definitions of these words find their most purest and most powerful definition when they are applied within the light of the truth and the reality of the relationship that Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai has with Yahweh Shai, and the relationship that Yahweh Shai has with Yahweh, and from that place, the relationship that Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai has with the elect. And since the beginning of time, all of the different times of blessing and cursing, obedience, disobedience, exaltation, and then brought to a low place, all the whole history, right? So you look at this, and if you keep reading down slower, look what it says: to also of God, Mashiach, restore, to favor or grace, right? And then you keep reading: to bring together again, regain, win over again, conciliate again. And then this is where the Spirit just knocked me backwards again: to make friendly. And I'm just gonna be honest, bro. I started doing the fucking girly cry thing, where I was just like, God, man, because why? All the precepts started flooding, and I'm just like, dude, what? Understanding that the reason why it has to be done again, to re means to again, and I don't know what conciliate. Let's get that real quick. But re means again, so it means what? We lost it. Why are we orphans? Because we were once sons. Why are we a widow? Because we were once the wife. How did we become the widow? How did we become the orphan? It was through transgression that the relationship with our Father and the relationship with our husband died because of the adulteries, because of the abominable idolatries we specifically did. And we did it against our friend. And I want to show you guys with the Spirit. Many of you are way more skilled, okay, way more mature than me. But I also know that I hear the Spirit, and I also know that my ear has been more tuned or activated because of my my closeness, or my what's the word? The other word I want to use. My proximity to you prophets, to the specific prophets of GMS. And I'm talking about specifically to the men in the Atlanta camp who have been the literal hands and fingers in my life for the past 7 years. I stood outside the camp for 5 years or more. And if there's any group of men who get the credit for long suffering and admonishments and brotherly kindness and exampleships of Yahweh Shai, it's these gentlemen, and I also know it's because they're connected to all the other camps in GMS, because many of them have deep friendships with other prophets in the other camps, and they also walk in the Spirit. So this is not a lesson of flattery. It's just we gotta give double honors, and we gotta give credit where credit is due, man. I don't want to get off track. So when I saw the word "make friendly" again, I thought all the flood of spirits, the flood of precepts. Now I want to go somewhere. I've taken photos of all the precepts that came to me, and I'm gonna miss some stuff, but I'm sure that others will be able to fill in. Now, when I saw this, I was also reading. I was reading the story of Elijah, and I was going into the prophets of Baal and the altar, right? And I'm still not fully skilled in that story and that record. And something the Spirit showed me something that I was not familiar with this weekend. And it ties into all this. But it freaked me out, man. I was like, oh my gosh. You know how it says was it Malachi? I will send you the Spirit. I will send you Elijah. I will send you Elijah. So look, because I remember how powerful this was when I was just learning reincarnation, when I was learning how powerful the law was as I was coming out of Christianity. Because if you go into this precept, let me see if I can. There we go, perfect. If you go into this precept, behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great day, the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And we understand that it's talking about Yahweh Shaphat, but we also understand that it was also Yahweh Shai's ministry, right? And if you keep reading, and he shall turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the hearts of the children to the fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. So this is a deep statement, right? We understand that we start to learn what are the fathers. Well, the fathers are it's a number of things, but it goes into the precepts. It goes into the law, statutes, and commandments. That's our father, right? That's our mother. The precepts, the prophecies, the understanding of the correct doctrine, the truth, and also our fathers. And then understanding that we also have lived before, right? And we got to understand what we received in the past and then where we went wrong in the past, so that when we are turning back to Yahweh Shai, we are able to confess and offer up the correct prayer, that incense, right? And confess what we've done wrong in our relationship so that we can be reconciled. Keep reading the book. Let me go back. I think the one right before it. This is it. This is what floored me when I first read that. Remember. Again, that word right? Member is a body part, or, a reconnecting to something that was severed. Remember ye the law of Moses. And what is Renaissance Western Christianity? What does America teach? The law is done away with. They just completely, they send out all these enchantments, and they put it in your minds that the law is done away with, that the New Testament is better. The fact that they call the Old Testament and they call the New Testament, when it's actually the whole scroll, the whole roll, Salakia. There is no new and old. There's a new covenant that's going to be made, but the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. That one precept links all books together. That links what Esau has called the Old Testament together with the Apocrypha that he removed, and together with what he calls the New Testament. Those words, New Testament and Old Testament, were inserted by an outside profane person, someone that's not in the temple. Because we don't call the New Testament the New Testament. That's not even mentioned in the scriptures. It's just called it's the word of Yahweh. It's the roll, the whole roll, right? So remember ye in the word. I remember ye in the law. And when I saw that, I was like, see, if I was familiar with the law, if I was familiar with the prophecies, if I was familiar with the whole roll, if I was familiar, right, I would have understood that Elijah is coming. So this is why in the New Testament, we see the Hebrew Israelites asking John the Baptist if he's this person, because they had this understanding. By the time we get to this side of the planet, in America, we have lost this understanding. The prophecy says we would discontinue from our heritage, right? We would separate again, that reconciliation, that remembering. We would be dismembered from Yahweh because of our adulteries, which is Yahushua said, I think it's in Luke 21, the days of vengeance are coming, and we will be scattered to the four corners of the earth because and we'll go into captivity. He's saying this right before he goes to the cross. So nobody in Christianity ever explained this to me. I was like, what? So we were going to go into slavery. Why? Because we committed adultery. And what is adultery? Jealousy is the rage of a man, right? Though you give many gifts, he will not relent on the day of vengeance. So to understand all of this, you got to understand the whole role. So we're being reconciled, which is what? To be made friendly. Well, what is friendly? Again, the words, these definitions to these words are at their most purest and powerful, at their most former, preeminent height first, when they are in relationship or in the light of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, and the elect sons of God. Because within the composition that Yahweh wrote, this is where the definitions, the understanding of the definitions of these words, this is where they're at their most powerful. And the blood of Yahweh Shai is what brings all of this back together again. And Yahweh Shai wasn't sent for everyone in every nation. He was sent for every elect son of Yahweh that was scattered to every nation, because we were dismembered. We were disconnected through our adulteries. And the punishment was he had to slay his wife, right? That's in the law. And the form of us being slayed was us discontinuing from our heritage, him removing the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which is the life, the breath, because without understanding and without knowledge, you're like a beast, right? All of it just keeps going. So I saw friendly, and then I was like, damn. So now let me get to my whole point. So I'm looking at this, and this mystery, this ministry of reconciliation. Look at this, man. When you go into the scriptures and you look at all these precepts, so look at this. If thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thy son, this is Deuteronomy 13:6. Look at this, man. If thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thy son, or thy daughter, or thy wife of thy bosom, or thy friend, and this is the key part coming up next, which is as thine own soul. So friend, this is a dark saying, is when you're close with someone, is linked to someone being like your own soul, a deep, deep bond, a deep connecting. You love someone as yourself. This is how close this person is, right? It's not just a random person. This is very key, because this is going to spread throughout the precepts. If someone even at this level tries to entice you secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods. Now this is specific. This is the number one transgression that is the most devastating out of all of them that we did, because this one, we did everything. We did all kind of weird shit, nasty shit, creepy shit. But it was this adulterous, wicked, abominable worship of other fucking gods, and then having to do wicked, abominable, fucking body fluid, human sacrifice of our children, applications to consummate the marriage to these false gods. We did this nasty shit over and over again, which is what brought about the vengeance of the jealous husband on his wife, who would refuse to not stop cheating on him publicly. You got to see it for that. That's what it fucking is. And within this precept written by Yahweh, this composition, Yahweh Shai is conducting this. He's opening it up. He's opening up to us. And look what's written. Or thy friend, just take this part. Or if thy friend, which is as thine own soul. If thy friend, which is as thine own soul, entice you to cheat on your friend, to commit adultery on your friend who is also as your own soul. Because our friend, the one who has been most friendly to all of us, the one who has been preeminently friendly, the one who has been former friendly. You know, it says Jacob is the former of all things. Yahweh's friendship is the former of all friendships, specifically to the elect sons of God, you guys. This is the most highest definition. He has proven himself. Yahweh Shai has proven himself to literally be our first and our best friend throughout the generations, throughout the rulerships, throughout all of our reincarnations, even during our times of punishment, even during our times of captivity. He's still been our friend, even in his wrath, man, because it's the wrath and it's the discipline and the punishment for this wicked act. I'm going somewhere with this because that type of reaction, that type of a judgment is for that act. It's just, it's righteous, man. Because here we are in 2026 in America, on the other side of the world, at the ending of in a time of progression in this new song, in this music, in this symphony, in this orchestra that Yahweh has written with Yahweh Shai all throughout it, this new song, and we have been blessed with the ability to hear again, to say his name again, able to look back, the hearts of the children turning back to the fathers, and the hearts of the fathers returning back to the sons, and we're able to make the connection all the way through and be like, damn, there is no one like him. There is no one like our friend. Now look, if thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thy son, or thy daughter, or thy wife, or thy bosom, these are all close things to you, or thy friend, which is as thine own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods, which thou hast not known, thou nor thy fathers, namely of the gods of the people which are round about you. So this means literally every other nation on planet Earth. There goes your separation. There goes your holy. There goes we're wholly separated. We are uniquely different from everyone on planet Earth because everyone else has a God they worship, but it's not Yahweh. It's something on the left hand, but it's not specifically Yahweh. Nigh unto thee, nor fall off from thee from the one end of the earth, even unto the other end of the earth. Thou shalt not consent unto him, nor hearken. Why? Because Yahweh is first. Yahweh Shai is first, even above everything else. Nor hearken unto him, neither shall thine eye pity him, neither shalt thou spare, neither shalt thou conceal him, but thou shalt surely kill him. Thine hand shall be first upon him, to put him to death, and afterwards the hand of all people. Remember, the intensity of this judgment for this specific type of a transgression is encoded around the word of thy friend, which is as thine own soul. Why? Because the one speaking is your first and highest friend, and he is as your soul. Because you wouldn't even have been able to experience a friend who is as your own soul on planet Earth if Yahweh didn't write the code for it to happen in the first place. And we are the only race, we are the only nation that he has spoken these things to. Listen, Proverbs 6:23. Now again, look, but whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. One level. How are you destroying your soul? Because you're going to bring a judgment on you. But if you are this race of people hearing this instruction, that means you are in the seed line who is called the friend of Yahweh. And that means Yahweh is as your own soul. And that means you are as Yahweh's soul. So if you commit adultery against Yahweh, because we understand in Proverbs that all of the women mentioned in Proverbs are likened unto either philosophies on the left-hand side or the wisdom of the Most High, as King Solomon, the son of David, who is Yahweh Shai, magnificently communicates in the form of dark sentences, opening up the dark sentences on his harp in Proverbs, in the Song of Solomon, in Ecclesiastes, and in the Wisdom of Solomon. So this is not talking about women. This is talking about the Israelites who have been married to Yahweh committing adultery with the gods mentioned here in Deuteronomy. It's and friend or thy friend. Friend is mentioned. Remember, what is reconciliation? To again friendly, to make friendly, to re-friendly, to become friends again. In the context of Yahweh being the orchestrator or the composer of this new song, Yahweh Shai being the conductor of that opening up, and it only being brought to who? The holy souls mentioned in the Wisdom of Solomon, the secrets shared with his servants, the prophets. It just continues to get deeper and more personal. But whoso committeth adultery with a woman, talking about the strange woman, which are the philosophies of Yahweh Shai and the other nations, he lacketh understanding. And where does understanding come from? The one giving you the commandment, the one you're married to, your friend who is as your own soul. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. You're going to destroy your friendship, your friend, as well as yourself, but you're going to transgress against your best friend. Proverbs 6:33. And listen, a wound and dishonor. Jeremiah, 30? I have wounded you with the wound of a cruel enemy. Why? Because your transgressions were increased. What were the transgressions? The adultery. What were the transgressions? Cheating. Over and over again. Whorish. Adultery. Passing the holy seed through the fire of Moloch. A wound and dishonor shall he get, and his reproach shall not be wiped away. What's the reproach? Your friend, who is your covering, who is your husband, who is your guardian, who is your name, who is your honor and your glory, will be removed away from you. His name will be wiped off your forehead. His name will be removed from your tongue. You'll be brought to death for cheating. You'll lose the spirit. You'll lose your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And you'll be brought under captivity to the other nations. And a wound and dishonor shall he get, and his reproach shall not be wiped away. 6:34. For jealousy is the rage of a man. Who is the man that's jealous? Who is as the wise man? It's the same. It's the Most High, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. For jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. He will not regard thy... And what did Yahushai say? In, I gotta pull it real quick. The days of vengeance must be fulfilled. And this is right before he was going to the cross. The days of vengeance must be fulfilled. He was talking about the final and last chastisement, the final and last fire, the final and last punishment because of our adulteries. The plan of Yahweh. A righteous man falls 7 times and gets back up again. That means in our personal lives, but that's talking about us as a nation, the elect. How many times were we in captivity? How many major captivities were it? 7. The days of vengeance must be fulfilled. And how do you purify gold? You got to purify gold 7 times. And what does he call us in the prophets? The prophets, my gold and my silver has thou taken. I believe that's in Joel. And he even calls us reprobate silver because we went off, but we are his silver and his gold. Luke 21:22. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. Right here. That's what was written. He wrote this here as King Solomon, and he spoke this as Yahweh Shai. He is the word of Yahweh. This is the composition of Yahweh. The more you see how Yahweh writes and speaks, when you see yourself cheating on him and he is your friend as your own soul, it will eventually, I don't care how fucking hardcore of a goddamn Salakia. I don't care how hardcore of a prophet you are, you will shed some salt. What I mean by that, you'll drop a tear or two. You will weep. It's gonna come out of you, bro. Cause it's like, damn. And this is the man of war. This is Allah Shaja. This is Yahweh Allah Shaja. This is the man of war, the great demon-like power, bro, who is sharing his secrets with us, his servants, the prophets, bro. And we're in the position right now where we're not even We are making ourselves white, hoping to be remarried, because that is the proper attitude. That we're hopeful elect. Looking back at all this, okay? For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. For jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. And we are now coming to the end of the affliction of Zion, which were the days of vengeance because of our adultery against our friend, who is as our own soul, who also calls us friend. And we are the only ones that he has ever said this to. He will not regard ransom, neither will he rest content, though thou givest many gifts. Ecclesiastes 8:1, who is as the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed. You can jump to Numbers with the anointing prayer. Yah, Baraka, Yahweh, Wayashamarka, Ya'ar, Yahweh, Panyawa, Ayaka, Wayakanka, Yesha, Yahweh, Panyawa, Ayaka, Wayashamlaka, Shalom, his face, his face, his face. He be gracious to you. He lift up his countenance and shine. I don't have it memorized and paraphrasing, but it goes into his face. His face is his wisdom. And Yahweh Shai has been made wisdom. Paul says that in 1st or 2nd Corinthians. Therefore, the face of Yahweh is now literally Yahweh Shai. So as we seek Yahweh's wisdom, we seek personally the person of Yahweh Shai, the individual Yahweh Shai, our most beloved elder brother, who has been made wisdom, reconciliation, atonement. Let me just pull it, Salakia. It just continued. Look, I gotta say, Salakia, I hate to. No, I'm gonna try this. Yahweh Shai. I'm gonna train my AI to act right. Yahweh Shai has been made wisdom. Wisdom has been made wisdom. Let me see. It's 1 Corinthians. Yep, right there. Let me see if this is it. For after that, in the wisdom of the Most High, the world by wisdom knew not God. It pleased him by the fullness of preaching to save. Let me see, but hold on. Let me see. That's the one I was looking for. So like, this is it. But of him ye are in Mashiach, Yahweh Shai, who for power is made unto us wisdom and righteousness and sanctification and redemption. So he's been made all these things for us, and one of them is wisdom. And we understand in the book of the wisdom of Solomon, King Solomon, Yahweh Shai as King Solomon, is just going nuts in what he's writing concerning the wisdom of his father, in the most amazing, poetic, dark speech expression ever, right? And then after the cross, Yahweh glorifies him and then turns him literally into wisdom, which it's mind-boggling, but he is the face of Yahweh, okay? So who is as the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine. And so Yahweh Shai, you can also see this, Yahweh Shai is the glory of Yahweh. Even if you can see that. Yahweh he's the Most High. But this is how he is with his son, because the entire role is written about Yahweh Shai, even though Yahweh is the Most High. And this is also why when Yahweh Shai speaks and starts speaking about Yahweh, there is a vibration to it. Even if Yahweh Shai is just standing in front of Yahweh, waiting on Yahweh, that act, it's powerful. I believe there's a precept, I think it's in Revelations, where Yahweh Shai is standing on a cloud and he's waiting for the Father to send an angel to him to know when he can come and reap the earth. Bro, that's powerful. It's when Yahweh Shai is praying in John 17, when you read it, you can feel the difference in the spirit when you're reading him, O Holy Father, Abba Nawa Kodash, I don't know if I'm saying it right. He's teaching everyone, he's feeding everyone, he's rebuking everyone, he's casting out the left-handed spirits out of people, he's bringing health to bodies, he's speaking these amazing prophecies and these proverbs, and then he gets down on his knees and vocalizes to Yahweh and calls him Abanawa. No prophet before Yahweh Shai, as many as great things as the prophet said, none of them ever called Yahweh. I don't even think Malak Dawadad, I don't even think King David said Father. I could be wrong, but we don't ever see an Israelite man, a prophet, an anointed man, in all of that beauty. We don't see, not until Yahweh Shai shows up and he starts calling Yahweh, who is also known as Alashaja, Yahweh Tazabawath. Yahweh Shai is the first one to vocalize and call Yahweh Daddy, Abba. So there's this thing that goes on when Yahweh is talking about Yahweh Shai, and then when Yahweh Shai is talking about Yahweh, there's an intensity to it that we get to witness, and we get to view it and speak on it. Who is as the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed. So this is another one. Going into the friend, remember, we, hold on, right here, reconcile, to make friendly. Remember these words, the definitions of these words, when applied in their most perfect form, is when they are applied concerning Yahweh, concerning Yahweh Shai, and Yahweh, his relationship with Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai's relationship with Yahweh, and their relationship with the elect sons. From there, the rest of the nations are able to glean. But this is where it's at its most powerful, most purest form, because this is what it's talking about. And then when you come here, look, we understand King Solomon, Song of Solomon is written by King Solomon, and we understand that King Solomon is Yahweh Shai. This is what he's saying. His mouth is most sweet. This is King Solomon writing in dark speech. He's putting King Solomon as his father. He's putting himself in the song, but himself he's using his image to represent the father, and then he takes on the position of the Shulamite woman. So the Shulamite woman, the girl, the object of King Solomon's desire, so that's the Most High. The Shulamite woman is Yahweh Shai, or King Solomon, and the daughters of Jerusalem are the elect men. This is what Yahweh Shai is saying in dark speech about his father to the elect men. His mouth is most sweet. What is this going into? We understand that the Most High in this same book so King Solomon tells the Shulamite woman, under thy tongue is milk and honey. Milk and honey goes into knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. That's the honey is the wisdom. We understand King David's best friend Jonathan dipped his staff into the honey when his father made a decree, if anyone eats, they're going to die. When they were looking for David, I think they were doing something, and Jonathan says, "See how my eyes have been enlightened because I've tasted a little of this honey." And I believe there is also a proverb that mentions honey and its similitude to wisdom. And honey is sweet. And so under thy tongue is milk and honey. So look at this back and forth. Look, I'll just pull it. Salakia. Look at this. Under thy tongue, under thy tongue, damn it. Under thy tongue, under thy tongue is milk and honey. Milk and honey is under thy tongue, I think, is milk and honey. So meaning that when Yahweh Shai speaks, when the prophets speak, they speak the parables, they speak the dark sayings, they speak the new song that hasn't been given to anyone, and it's beautiful. Thy lips, O my spouse. So look, so this and this, man, this is, it's just thy lips, O my spouse. So this is King Solomon, but that's representing the Most High, is speaking this to the Shulamite woman who is actually Yahushai or King Solomon. Thy lips, O my spouse, drop as the honeycomb. Honey and milk are under thy tongue, and the smell of thy garments is like the smell of Lebanon. And what is Lebanon? That goes in the whiteness, purity. So, and Yahushai in this same book is without blemish because he's the Redeemer. Did he sin? Yeah, he did. But Yahweh is, what did he say? My mercy will not depart from him. I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. When you take that precept, I believe it's out of Genesis somewhere, you apply it to Yahushai, because the prophecy given to the prophet Nathan to King David about the child he was going to have, that is the what? The root that springs out of the branch, or the root that comes out of Jesse, because David's Jesse's son, and then Yahushua comes out of David as King Solomon, the son of David. The prophecy is what? If he transgress, I will chastise him with the stripes of men, but my mercy will not depart from him as I took it away from King Saul. Right there, that's a declaration that Yahushua gets the most mercy. But you have to understand reincarnation to see that, right? So my lips, thy lips, thy lips. And this is the Most High. Again, this is the back and forth between Yahushua and Yahweh and Yahushua, and then Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua with the elect. Thy lips, O my spouse, drop as in honeycomb. Honey and milk are under thy tongue, and the smell of thy garments is like the smell of Lebanon, purity. He comes on a white horse, whiteness. Song of Solomon 5:16. His mouth is most sweet. But this is Yahushua speaking about his father. This is where it starts to get powerful, because only Yahushua can reveal who the Father is, and he will only do it with who? The man that he stands with on Mount Zion, Revelations 14, and the innumerable multitude that listens, right? Just like only Yahweh can reveal who Yahushua is. They hold each other's identity. Yahweh brings us to Yahushua, and then Yahushua brings us to Yahweh. It's badass. His mouth is most sweet. So this is Yahushua just honoring his father, right? Yea, he is altogether lovely, and this is the word I wanted to show you. This is my beloved, and this is my friend. And then he sang it to who? The daughters of Jerusalem, which are what? The elect men. We got to get this friend. We got to get this deep understanding of what friend is in the precepts. Precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line upon line, here a little, there a little. This word friend is effing huge. To re-friend again, to make friendly, reconcile. This, again, it goes into the sons of God, who are the holy souls, who are the prophets, who receive all the secrets from Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. The blood of Yahushua was shed to redeem this group of men. This is intense, man. Salakia, I don't want to get excited, and I'm nervous. For wisdom is more moving than any motion. So this is now we got to jump. His mouth is okay. His mouth is most sweet, right? So what do you see here? You see Yahushua as the Shulamite boasting, right? Praising the sweetness, the wisdom of his father's mouth, the wisdom of his beloved's mouth. And then you see the example of it all throughout Wisdom of Solomon. For wisdom, so this is King Solomon talking about the spirit of his father in dark speech. For wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. For she is the breath of the power of God, and a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. Therefore can no defiled thing fall into her, for she is the brightness of the everlasting light, the unspotted mirror of the power of Yahweh, and the image of his goodness. Again, he's also encoded in that because he is the only begotten Son of Yahweh. 27, and being but one, she can do all things, and remaining in herself, she maketh all things new, and in all ages, entering into holy souls, she maketh them friends. There goes that word friend again, of God and prophets. And you guys see this. And then what did he say? Ye are my friends if you do whatsoever I command you. Just hearing this only doesn't give it justice until you get all of this. And it's like, oh man, he knew exactly what he was doing when he said this. This is more completion on the great labors of him and his father perfecting the plant, like it says in 2nd Esdras. With great labor have I perfected my plant. That plant are the friends. That plant is the wife. That plant is all the words, bro, the meek, the sons. He has been most friendly to us, you guys. You are my friends if you do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth, but I have called you friends. For all things that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you. Now jump back to Song of Solomon, and you see it right there. His mouth is most sweet, yea, he is altogether lovely. This is my beloved, and this is my friend, O daughters of Jerusalem. So you see Yahushua speaking to the elect about the friendship of his father, and then you see him saying, you are my friends if you do whatever I command. And then look, henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth, but I have called you my friends. For all things, his mouth is most sweet, all the sweet things that my Father speaks, all the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Oh, man. All the precepts, the prophecy, the testimony of Yahushua, the spirit of prophecy, for all the things that I have heard of my Father, I have made known unto you. You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you, that you should go forth and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of my Father in my name, he may give it you. Hear me, O Lord, hear me, O Lord. It's the people that might know. And in this, Salakia, and in this, 1 Kings was Elijah. I did not know this part. I thought this part only was true when Elijah came back as John the Baptist, and then when he came back as Abba Bivens. But this was the reality even during his day when he was building the altar in front of the 400 prophets of Baal. And so at first, and that's a big thing, at first you look at the story, oh yeah, you look at the glory of it, the military or the war portion of it, oh yeah, the fire of God comes down and the 400 prophets of Baal and the one man of God, ooh, the odds. Yeah, that's an element to it, but this was the ultimate reality. Hear me, O Yahweh, hear me, that this people may know that thou art Yahweh the power, and that thou hast turned their hearts back again. So here we see the former, the first, the head, we see the father of the children, so to speak, in the precepts of this ancient work and how it's gone on throughout time. From who? Our friend, who is our husband, right? And we also cheated. We sinned against this friend, right? Whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding, and he that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. Why? Because right here in Deuteronomy, if thy brother, thy son, or thy mother, or thy son, or thy daughter, or thy wife, or thy bosom, or thy friend, which has thine own soul. You see how it's like, good Lord, bro. And it brings you to tears, but it brings you to worship, because you see this ongoing work. And it's like, damn, we effed up. But he dealt with us. He punished us, which is him correcting us. And as he's finishing up correcting us, because it's necessary for this correction, we're looking at this like, damn, bro, like, wow. And so we get to the place. We get to the place. I want to end it with this. And this is me attempting to. I want to share something. I know Isaiah 4:1. I know that has to do with us, you guys. I know that. 7 women. I know that. But I want to suggest something that with all that I've been looking at, and I'm new, I'm younger than a lot of you. I say that, I mean this. I don't want to come off as being arrogant or fucking fuck that, but, and this is talking about the restoration between men and women, because the punishments of what we did here by cheating against our own soul, our friend, through the gods of the nations, the punishment was not only slavery, but the curses, which would then turn our women against us. A woman shall compass a man. I will not judge your spouses or your daughters when they commit whoredoms, for you yourself are turned after whores or harlots in the temple or something like that in Hosea. So the disorder that we see in the earth between men and women is a direct result of what? What the sons of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai did. Again, it's because of us. Does it mean that the women are innocent? Fuck no, man. They are out of their fucking minds, right? But I want to suggest a spiritual aspect of this. Please, can I suggest something? I want to say that also this means us. That in that day, 7 women, we're at the 7th captivity. We have been purified. We're being purified through the fire of going through the fire. It talks about, what is that? 2/3 shall be destroyed or cut off and die, but the 1/3 shall be brought through the fire. Right? This Zion, the elect, we're going to go through the fire of Jacob's trouble. And yes, women are going to be being restored to us, but I want to say that this is a physical representation of what's happening in the spirit with us as the men, as the elect. In that day, 7 women, the virgins that Yahweh said, the wise virgins, and in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man. Who's that one man? Yahweh Shai. And his father Yahweh, they shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread. What's the bread? This word, eat bread, eat food. There's all kinds of, the man shall not live on bread alone, but every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. Yahweh said that. And we will eat our own bread, and we will wear our own apparel. What's that apparel? The whiteness, dressed up in these precepts. Dressed up in the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Wisdom shall be her bands are purple lace, and her like a diadem of gold about her head or something like that. I mean, I'm like, wait, hold. Yes, this is talking about women, you guys, because the men are going to be destroyed. It's going to be chaos. Women need to be restored back to their original state, which is understanding that they need a man, but the woman, the comely woman, the daughter of Zion, who are the men, are who? We are the wife, the hopeful wife of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And we have to be submitted and restored back to our original state, which means we need to submit to him. We need to know that we need him. We can't be having our eyes on any other gods. We can't be having our eyes on anyone else but him. And we got to be willing to eat his word, which is his instruction, because you see women not doing that. They don't fucking listen. And we got to be willing to wear our own apparel. What is that? That goes into those garments, the garment of salvation, all of that stuff, which can only be found. Let me see it. Yeah, I think I'm right on this. I'm not trying to teach this as a doctrine, but I'm like, dude, we're encoded in that. Yahweh Shai says, buy of me gold. Did he say gold? And white raiment. Buy of me gold. And white raiment. Hold on, let me. White raiment. How you spell white clothing? Let me see if it's in Revelation. Yeah. I can't look. So look, and we're married to him, right? So we got to receive his instruction, right? And we're his wives, right? The 144. And the innumerable multitude are the wives of Yahweh Shai. I counsel thee to buy of me gold, tried in the fire, that thou mayest be rich. And white raiment. What's that gold? That's that. I guess I don't know exactly. I'm assuming because we've been called gold and silver that we're precious to him, right? But we have to be in our right minds, and we have to be in this correct doctrine. We have to be within the boundaries or the when a man gets a woman, he he makes a possession, right? We have to be his possession, which means we have to be with inside of the what's the word, the hedge, because when there is no hedge, a husband walks up and down mourning. I'm paraphrasing, and it's Ecclesiasticus. When there's no control over the wife, when she's not kept in, dude, that statement, it's only your turn. That is a coping mechanism. That's a fucked up statement when they say about, it was only your turn when they're talking about a guy with a girl, meaning because what? There's a time limit on the relationship. It's not supposed to be like that. That's a direct result of the punishment. Because you're not supposed to be thinking that before you get into a relationship with any girl. You are supposed to have dominion. You are supposed to have rulership over her, bro. Not in some weird, kinky way. She ain't supposed to fucking go nowhere the minute you pop her, bro. You put your genetic name code vibration into her when you fucking blew your nose inside of her. Right? She ain't supposed to fucking go nowhere. That's crazy. We're not supposed to go anywhere. The fuck are we doing, man? Running around on Yahweh in presence of everybody on planet Earth when there is no one like him. There is no friendship like his. There is no artistic, poetic, dark speech expression. No one writes and speaks like Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, man. You guys, I'm so impressed, embarrassed, and shamed, and in shock when I'm listening to you guys, when I'm reading, when I'm doing my own studies, and the Spirit is showing me this stuff that I've never seen before. And I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck were we doing? How do you, in light of us being the comely woman and him being our husband, how in the fuck? Who talks to us the way Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai talks to us? Do you understand the impact that it has on your innermost being, do you understand how much my own self-confidence has changed since I woke up? The way I view Esau? It's not, you gotta understand, I idolized Esau. I was raised up and down. I'm from Arizona. All my friends were white. I speak perfect white dude. I'm not gonna fucking lie, man. I had quote unquote black friends, but the majority of my fucking friends were white because of the state that I was raised in. So I'm very comfortable around them, and I didn't understand why they had so much. I also understood that they were simple in so many ways, but they just had, everything just went their way. Now I get it. And then now that's just one, now I'm looking at all this other stuff. I'm like, do you understand what it does to you when you can actually hear someone speak the way they speak? And we're talking about the Most High and his son, Yahweh Shai. And then when that Most High, and when the Yahweh Shai is speaking to you and to people that are your people, and then you see them talking the same way, and then they talk to you like that, and they talk to you about what he talks, what it does to you, it has this effect. It does something to you. You start talking like that. You start listening like that. You start wanting to talk more. You start to realize how much you don't talk like that. You also realize how other people don't talk like this. You see the other gods of the other people and how their gods don't talk to them the way our God talks to us. It creates this what's the word? And then you're like, what the fuck were we doing 2,000 years ago? What were we doing? Look at this, you guys. Look at this. Remember how intense the word friend? Salakia, hold on to me. I'm jumping. Revelations 3:18. I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that thou mayest be rich, and white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed, and that thy shame of thy nakedness do not appear. Everything that we've done wrong. And anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see. This is Yahweh Shai speaking this to us. And then going back to right here, 7 women. I want to suggest that this is a part of us too. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own clothes. We will take your instruction and do everything you said, right? And wear our own apparel. And because we will eat the bread of life, and because we will be clothed with everything you wanted to put on us, meaning we're going to stay put only. This is the hopeful elect. We're now asking you, will you please reconsider to marry us? because this is also not normal. A woman is not supposed to ask a man to marry her. When the natural order is reset, you guys, women will be given to men by their fathers, or when it gets to a point where there's just so much fruitfulness, if a man sees a wife that he desires, he can then approach the father and say, hey, I saw her in the marketplace. Oh my gosh, can I marry her? Would you? And then the decision will be made. Ain't gonna be no women. When everything gets set in order, women are not gonna be walking up to men asking them to marry them. That would be considered to be out of order. So even in this, there's a piece of us in this, you guys. Only let us be called by thy name, to take away our reproach. Because it's the man of the nation that when Yahweh finally made his move and said, you know what, I'm done. You guys keep cheating on me. It was the story that he wrote, but this is how he wrote it. I'm going to take away the captain of 50, the captain of 100, the elders. I'm removing the daughter of Zion. And after that, the entire nation fell. And now we see women in their position right now acting fucking crazy. And we absolutely are sighing and crying about this shit. But this is what we put Yahweh, who is the friend of our own soul, when we committed adultery. That's what we were doing. Same shit, man. And you see that? And now I forgot the precept that I was going to pull, but I need to get back to that. So anyways, I wanted to show this, and yeah, I didn't want to come off as like kind of, because I know also, if you guys go into First Kings, look at this, man. First Kings 18:37. Because I don't know yet. I don't know the full understanding of how the temple was operated in. I'm still learning. First Kings 18. But if you go into when Elijah is building the altar, and then it says he restored the sons of the fathers back to the sons of the children, the sons of the, hold on, Salakia. Because at first I'm like, okay, we're looking at all this, the prophets of Baal, ooh, that's good. That's the theatrical, like, ooh, the Hollywood part, kind of it. At least for me, it was like, oh man. But then I started looking in the Blue Letter and stuff, and I was like, wait, there's more to this. And Elijah said to the prophets, Baal, choose. Hold on. And it came to pass at noon that Elijah mocked, and that part where he's being funny, it's kind of cool, right? But when you get into, okay, and Elijah took 12 stones. Okay, so we know the 12 stones are what? Those are the 12 stones also in the high priest robe. They represent the 12 tribes. According to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob, unto whom the word of Yahweh came, saying, Israel shall be thy name. So he's building an altar / temple out of the stones, which are the men of Israel. And with the stones he built, the living stones, and Yahweh called Peter a rock, and Yahweh is the rock of our salvation. And with the stones he built an altar in the name of Yahweh. So he's putting the name on these stones / altar, third temple / and I know the altar isn't the temple, but it is a part of the temple. And he made a trench about the altar as great as would contain 2 measures of seed. Now watch this. And he put the wood in order and cut the bullock in pieces and laid him on the wood and said, fill 4 barrels with water and pour it on the burnt offerings and on the wood. So there's 4 barrels, and then he pours the water 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12. Hold on. I'm not trying to be weird, okay? And again, I don't know the functionality of a temple yet. We're still learning in knowledge and our understanding. So my elder brothers at the camp would understand if I'm going off, just bring some correction. So, and he built with the stones an altar in the name of Yahweh, and he made a trench. Let me see. To do fashion, to accomplish, to make, to do work, to make, to produce, to act, to make, produce, right, repair, to make, attend, observe, celebrate, acquire, to appoint, ordain, institute, to bring about. This is him making but it's a trench, right? I'm thinking of a trench like, a trench around about the altar, I guess, to hold the water. So look what these words are, though. A conduit of water, conduit, water course, trench, healing. This is what started tripping me out. Healing of new flesh and skin forming over wound. Bandage, plaster, or healing wound. So you can you see it? Those who believe on me, as the scriptures say, rivers of living water will flow from their innermost being. And then Ecclesiastes 37, bone came to bone, flesh and sinews and skin, and then the breath, right? So he's building an altar. He's building the temple, the third temple. He's a prophet. Yahushua, the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. Everything that is prophetic is linked to Yahushua, and everything Yahushua is from Yahweh, and then the word friend is in there, and then we cheated, and then we're being restored. As great as wood contains. So look, and then look at this. Look at that, a house, shelter or abode of animals, human bodies, of soul, of abode of light and darkness, balance, both good and evil, a land of Ephraim. That's the head of the north tribe, right? Home, house, as containing a family, household, family. This is the altar that Elijah is building in front of the 400 prophets of Baal. And you can liken that to today in Hollywood and the American government. I will bring them in order before thy sight. Family of descendants or organized body. I didn't know this, you guys. I found this out this week. And it just freaked me out, man. I'm like, wait a minute. So in Elijah's time, I was only understood of the prophet Malachi when it says, I will send you Elijah. And then when John the Baptist comes, he will restore the hearts. And then later, or more recently, when Abba Bivens would come, then that's how everything started. And from that, GMS came, right? The restoration, the reconciliation, but it was also happening during Elijah's time. Okay, so I just wanted to show that because I didn't know that, man. 2 measures of seed. Look at this. A measure of flour, a grain. I think it's like, how many pounds? I can't remember what that was, but I looked that up. And then of seed. Seed, sowing, offspring. So there's a reason why this is all used, because the covenant is with Abraham and his seed and his seed. And we understand that Isaac is the seed of Abraham, and we also understand that Isaac is Yahushua, which then shows Yahushua as having Jacob and Esau, and then Jacob being chosen, which then shows that Yahushua as Isaac is the everlasting father, just like Adam. Anyways, it just keeps going. So I'm not trying to be crazy, but the word friendship is what started all this. And the officer Anah had posted it and put that in the chat. And it freaked me out, man, because let me see where you at. Right here. I reopened it up, and then I saw the word friendly, and it took me down this spiritual rabbit hole. So I'm sharing what I was given or what I saw. I pray that I did this correctly. I pray that this was edifying, and I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, B'Hashem, Yahushai, B'Hashem, Rakagadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone who teach and rule well, and who I learn from. And a shalom to the hopeful elect, taking this truth to the 4 corners of the earth, bidding the elect spirits of Yasharallah to the marriage supper of the Lamb, who is Yahweh Shai, our most beloved elder brother. This is your brother Radah. Shalom.